Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Amazon SageMaker for Industries bi-weekly series. My name is Raghava Sudabattina. I'm a principal solutions architect at AWS. I'm based out of Boston. We wanted to see where are you from. If you can put where are you from in chat, that would be nice. Today's session will focus on improving analytics experience for insurance using next generation of Amazon SageMaker. You don't see any comments. Oh, I see someone called Rana from Chicago. How about others? Philly, nice. Okay. While we wait audience to fill the chart, where they are from, I'll ask Corey to introduce himself. Corey, can you introduce yourself? How long you have been with AWS? How do you find working at AWS?
Hi, everyone. I'm Corey Vesey. I'm a solutions architect specializing in insurance, and I've been at AWS just about 3.5 years. And I really enjoy being part of an organization like AWS that is so well aligned at all levels around customer obsession. Being in that environment empowers me to innovate and solve problems for my customers, and I'm always challenged.
Thank you, Corey. We'll go next. Mamata, can you talk about how long you have been with AWS and how do you find working at AWS?
Sure, Raghav. This is Mamta Vaidya. I'm from New Jersey and I'm the Senior Solutions Architect at AWS within Global Financial Services. I've been with AWS for 5 years and I've spent the last 5 years really leveraging my experience to design and implement cloud solutions for financial institutions. So, my tenure has been an incredible journey of continuous learning and professional growth. What I found most rewarding is the opportunity to architect solutions that directly address customers' business challenges and then working collaboratively with them to implement those solutions. So, the combination of technical innovation and customer impact makes my role at AWS particularly fulfilling.
Thank you, Mamata. Jay, can you talk more about yourself? How long you have been with AWS and how do you find working at AWS?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Jay Mehta. I'm a financial services industry-focused partner solution architect here at AWS, and I've been at AWS for a little over 3.5 years now. My background lies in financial services, so working for customers within the FSI sector with strong affinity for insurance as a subsector. And I like working at AWS mainly because I get to learn new technologies and see how these cutting edge solutions can help our customers meet their challenges and overcome whatever they want to build out from these solutions. Lastly, I think working with amazing colleagues here like you, Raga, Corey, and Mamta, it's a challenging and a more rewarding experience to have fun together.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jay. So we'll have like a 3 sections of this whole live show. First, we will set the context of the session, and then we will talk about the solution, and then we'll do the demo so that you can see in the real how the whole solution is working together. And again, we can always use a chart for if you have any questions. So today's session is around transforming insurance analytics experience with Amazon SageMaker. I mean, we are going to talk about how you can use Amazon SageMaker. That way, you can easily collaborate with different business personas within the insurance organization to derive the business value, or it could be anything: improve the customer experience, reducing the policy lapses, reducing the risk analysis. Jay is going to talk a little bit more about that. While you are watching, if you have any questions, I would recommend use the chat. Okay. Let me put this manner. Post your questions in the chat. So back to Jay.
Thanks, Raghav. So I'll be talking about how you could transform insurance analytics with Amazon SageMaker. But before I get into that, right, let's take a step back and understand what insurance companies really revolve around, right? Insurance companies revolve around three key entities, which is policy, claims, and billing. They use these crown jewels or the bread and butter to run their business. They essentially form their core systems. What I mean by that is insurers gather information from customers or agents about assets they want to insure or need coverage, need policies for. Once they have them, they underwrite these assets and price them against predefined pricing models. Where do these pricing models come from? These pricing models are built by actuaries based on several rating factors like location, history, period, reserves, et al. Renewals and new business leverage loss runs and detailed experience reports for risk assessment. Now, in the case of an unfortunate incident of a claim, adjusters collect first notice of loss, also known as FNOL information, and then adjudicate claims based on the data collected. Now, based on this coverage data that their policy had and the FNOL information that has come in, adjusters then adjudicate these claims and make claim payouts. Essentially, all of this is to say that insurance companies are data-driven enterprises. Let's see what that really looks like from
Jay, before going to the journeys, right? Can you talk more about what is the role of data analytics evolve in insurance? What are the key challenges the insurance carriers are facing, transitioning from a legacy system to modern data architecture? You talked about like more what they want to do. Can you talk about the technical depth around it?
Absolutely, right. So there are, I think, two or three key areas where insurance companies have leveraged data analytics. Firstly, they've gone from reactive to predictive analytics. This has really shifted the insurance carriers from traditional historical data analysis to using AI-powered predictive modeling that forecasts claims, market trends, and risk with unprecedented accuracy. They've used AI systems to automate complex underwriting and claims processing, as well as risk assessment, which has reduced turnaround times and improved customer experiences. Now, using AI, insurance companies have hyper-personalized the customer experience by providing individualized premium pricing based on precise risk profiles rather than broad demographic categories. Now, from a transition point of view, from a legacy to modern data architectures, legacy systems, they have expensive lift and shift migrations to cloud-based technologies for agile infrastructures, right? They have data silos, and integrating them is a challenge, especially with AI and ML capabilities. These existing analytics platforms are not as easily compatible or integratable, which is why these solutions often operate in isolation, which creates friction and creating duplicate data pipelines and more. Moving from traditional data warehouses, which is relational data only, and data lakes, which is all data types, to modern data architectures that enable querying across all systems without moving the data, right? This is where the major challenges occur when you're transitioning from a legacy system to a modern data architecture. Now, how do you go forward with a modern solution, right? This is where modern data architecture delivers faster insights by making predictive analytics as an integrated part of the overall analytics platform that an insurer is using. Unlike traditional approaches, modern data provides faster, deeper insights without the need to move or duplicate data across systems. I mean, the transformation is essential for competitive survival, but requires careful planning to overcome integration challenges and legacy system constraints.
Thank you, Jay. So, yeah, I'd like to move on so that you can cover the example personas to address a business.
Yeah. So, what I was saying, from a data-driven insurance companies are a data-driven enterprise. So, What this really means, right? Now, each persona within an insurance company has their own data journey. For example, a VP of commercial auto needs instant access to performance metrics for strategic decision making. A business analyst prepares data catalogs and visualizations to enable the VP to make data driven decisions across the organization. Now, an actuary aggregates claim data to understand for risk analysis while exploring generative AI for innovative classification methods of claims. Now, all of this is made possible by a system product owner who integrates raw claim system data from a legacy application after months of deliberation into the organization's lakehouse and prepares it for sharing with cross team members. In this case, the business analyst, the actuary, and the VP. Now, if you follow this approach, it allows producers of data to publish it in a way that the consumers of the data want to see it. As you see in the slide, the product owners of the respective applications publish their data for their entities. In the example, I have policy details, I have payment details, claim details, and more. Now, the raw data from core systems is then harmonized and cataloged using ETL tools like AWS Glue, making it available for consumption for end users. This is a product-centric approach, and often it's a customer 360-degree view that goes across lines of business, systems, and communication channels.
So, Jay,
Yes.
Can you go back to the prior slide? I have a question here, right? All the policyholder data, customer 360 in insurance, generally it stores in a mainframe, right? So you bring that data by using ETL tools into a data lake or a lake house, and from there you apply the transformation to make data available for consumption.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So with that said, right, the reality today is that insurance companies are grappling with critical operational inefficiencies that directly impact their bottom line and competitive positioning. Insurers struggle with disconnected data sources that limit their ability to gain comprehensive customer insights and manage risk effectively. Cross-functional teams face challenges with manual processes and poor collaboration, eventually hampering decision-making in competitive markets. In fact, traditional underwriting processes have largely remained unchanged for decades, demanding hundreds of customer data points and requiring days, at times even weeks, of lead time to provide any coverage to applicants. To top it, manual underwriting is highly subjective, leading to inconsistent premium calculations. Diverse data sources hamper an insurer's ability to enhance pricing models, despite having a wealth of relevant data. And in fact, decision-making processes are often complex, right, and time-consuming with limited scalability for monitoring customer risk across thousands of assets. This makes the insurer resort to building bespoke integrations between services, tools, their own access management systems, et al. To bridge these gaps. Human resource intensive processes can examine a small percentage of policies and claims, which makes fraud detection a significant challenge and an operational cost burden. These fragmented systems, manual processes, they all result in slower time to market, inconsistent pricing strategies, increased operational costs, and reduced competitive advantage in an industry where customer expectations are rapidly evolving due to new advanced AI capabilities. To help insurers overcome these challenges, Amazon SageMaker Unified Studio provides a single data and AI development environment where you can find and access all of the data in your organization and act on it using the best tools across any use case. The platform brings together the functionality and tools from existing AWS Analytics and AI ML services, including Amazon EMR, AWS Glue, Athena, Amazon Redshift, Amazon Bedrock, and Amazon SageMaker AI. With that said, let's do a double click on what really SageMaker was, right, initially. SageMaker is the Center for Data Analytics and AI. It has expanded, and now we refer to it as SageMaker AI. So the next generation of SageMaker includes SageMaker Unified Studio, which can be leveraged for data processing, SQL analytics, machine learning, and generative AI app development in a single governed environment. It does provide the ability to train, build, and deploy AI models at scale with support from Amazon Q Developer, which was already the case. Now, SageMaker Catalog, it then helps you to move faster with data, with embedded data and AI governance. This is based on Amazon Data Zone, which helps you bring consistent level of AI safety across all of your applications. SageMaker Lakehouse is used to break down data silos across your data estate. This is SageMaker Lakehouse uses an open lakehouse architecture, which is fully compatible with Apache Iceberg, allowing customers to use their preferred tools and engines with fine-grained access controls on their data. Combining all of these to build out a modern data architecture on AWS, my colleague here, Mamta, will talk you through that. Mamta, over to you.
Thanks, Jay. So let's talk about some of the architecture patterns for modern data. So there are two modern data architecture approaches. One is the data lakes, as we all know. It represents a modern approach to data storage and analytics that allow organizations to store vast amount of raw data in its native format until it's really needed for processing. Now, data lakes on AWS leverages S3's durability and scalability with integrated services like, as Jay mentioned, Glue, EMR, Athena, to reduce the time to value. Now, AWS Lake Formation simplifies the security and governance while enabling cost-effective storage that scales with your business, allowing organizations to quickly derive insights from structured, unstructured, streaming, and transactional data without extensive preprocessing. Now, another modern data approach is data mesh. Now, data mesh represents a data architecture that really decentralizes data ownership to domain teams, treating data as a product while providing the federated governance and self-service infrastructure. Now, within AWS, data mesh implementation is achieved through a comprehensive service portfolio that supports, again, domain-based ownership while maintaining enterprise governance through lake formation and IAM. So through business-aligned data management, AWS services like, again, Glue, Lambda, S3 enable effective data product creation and catalog. And that actually helps organizations eliminate data silos and accelerate insights. From here, let's look at what architecture pattern are we following for storing, curating, and analyzing insurance data. Next slide, please, Jay. All right, thank you. Yeah, so insurance. So how are we using the modern data foundation for insurance? It is achieved with an insurance lake, and insurance lake is how AWS helps insurance carriers evolve away from traditional relational databases and enterprise data warehouses and leverage a more data lakehouse based approach. And it uses Apache Iceberg formats with business data, transformation rules, and end-to-end data lineage. So it also includes integration to the next generation of Amazon SageMaker that Jay just explained, including Amazon Data Zone and Amazon QuickSight for business dashboards and advanced analytics. Now, insurance companies actually face a complex challenge integrating data from their diverse core systems, which is policy, billing, and claims, and that have actually multiplied over the years due to mergers, acquisitions, and legacy infrastructure. Now, AWS addresses this through a three-pillar approach for core systems, centralized data management, and digital channels. Now, the critical point for insurance companies is consolidating data from disparate systems while again maintaining the security, establishing unique customer policy claim identifiers, and then mapping it to a standardized insurance data dictionary. So, AWS's Insurance Lake Accelerator directly addresses this by providing a purpose built solution that streamlines data collection, standardization, and consumption, and that enables the insurance companies to unlock the value of the enterprise data and at the same time deliver superior customer experiences through their digital channels. Now, with this foundation in mind, let's examine the architectural patterns for this workshop. So we'll be looking at Lake Insurance Lake implementation, which incorporates the foundational architecture for data, AI, and visualization integration, also called as the DAVI. So in the next slide, we'll dive deep into the DAVI architecture and how it supports insurance-specific data workflows. Next slide. Thanks, Shay. So what is DAVI? So DAVI, as I mentioned, stands for Data, AI, and Visualization Integration, which is actually a reference solution with infrastructure as code modules to accelerate development of applications on AWS using next generation Amazon SageMaker Unified Studio. So the goal of the DAVI solution is to provide engineers with sample infrastructure of a code, modules, and application modules to build their data platform. So this is the architecture of the DAVI solution that has been developed. So solution in the form of a workshop. So at the heart of the solution is the SageMaker Unified Studio, or the data lakes, both Iceberg and Hive. The data lakes are populated with data from batch pipelines and streaming pipelines. So once the data is in the data lakes, you can analyze the data using Athena and visualize the data using QuickSight. It also creates a SageMaker domain, and then it creates two projects, one for producer, one for consumer, and imports the data lakes into the SageMaker Lakehouse that Jay explained in his slide, and also creates data catalog and demonstrates the data quality, data lineage, and data mesh architecture. Now that we have built the foundation using DAVI, now let's look at the in-depth architecture of the insurance lake. Next slide. Thanks. Thanks, Shay. So the insurance lake is actually based off of the 4 Cs, or the medallion architecture. The first stage is collect. Collect is where you will store all your raw data in Amazon S3, and that becomes your bronze tier. The next step, or the next stage, is cleanse and curate. This stage validates, maps, transforms, and logs the actions performed on your data common to multiple use cases, and this becomes your silver tier. Now the next stage is consume. So consume is where, and which is your gold tier, which actually derives insights from your data. It prepares data for specific use cases, such as such as insurance and doing the loss ratio analysis, and this becomes your gold tier. And finally, last but not the least, is to comply and secure. You can automate your audit and regulatory compliance requirements and secure your data. So by doing it this way, you get the business benefits of this insurance lake, which is reducing time to value for data, quickly derive actionable insights from your data, and provide ML models with sample data.
Now, I have a question here.
Sure.
Sorry, I have a question here. What is Insurance Lake? Is it AWS service or AWS solution? How it will fit into the insurance?
Yeah, sure. Sure, Raghav. So Insurance Lake is an AWS solution,
Okay.
which is offered in form of a workshop.
Okay.
And that's the architecture I'm presenting. And you will also see the demo of this workshop shortly that Corey will present.
Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. So again, going back to the business benefits of the insurance lake, as I mentioned, it is also low cost. You can easily add data in hours. You can add new functionality in 1 or 2 days. You can audit your data, and it provides a secure single location for all of your data, which is transactional, external documents, etc. And then it also reduces dependency on your technical staff for all of the pipeline maintenance. With that, let's look at how to access this solution, which is in the form of this workshop that I mentioned, the contact information for this workshop, as well as I mentioned, demo of this workshop presented by Corey. So, Corey, over to you.
Corey, before coming there, I'm bringing you the stage. Thank you, Mamata and Jay, for explanation of how it works. I see a lot of people join from New Jersey and some people from Mumbai, India, some people from Nigeria. I see some people from Paris, Dallas. Thank you all. I see somebody from Lebanon as well. Corey, back to you. Now we learned about the business problem and how we can solve by using Amazon SageMaker Unified Studio. Now we wanted to see the in real, how it works, different personas. Jay mentioned about like 4 or 5 user personas. Corey, can you talk about, before getting into the demo, how we are going to accommodate all these 4 personas into Amazon SageMaker Unified Studio to solve a business problem?
Well, that's really the great thing about SageMaker Unified Studio. You can bring together different personas in an insurance organization. They can all access the tools they need. So you can have a business analyst come in and do analytics using natural language query or SQL or a combination. They can manipulate tables. They can look at ETL outputs. You can have data engineers come and work with raw data and transform it all in one place. And you can have actuaries use the integrated notebook experience to do more advanced analytics. And then finally, with the recently announced QuickSight integration, you can have senior leaders come in and look at dashboards, get easy access, and when they can't find what they're looking for, use natural language query for ad hoc research and insights.
Thank you, Corey. So what is your demo is going to be in and around? You talked about 4 use cases. Can you talk a little bit of business problem they're solving with those personas? Like you're showing here, Samantha, business analyst. Can you talk a little bit more about what Samantha is going to do with respect to business and how SageMaker Unified Studio can accelerate the solution?
Yeah, let's get right into the demo. So Samantha is a business analyst for a property and casualty insurance company. And as a business analyst for the commercial auto team, she needs to efficiently prepare and publish data catalogs and visualizations to help her stakeholders make data-driven decisions. So Samantha will start her journey by logging into SageMaker Unified Studio's single sign-on. And we'll just, yes, this is a video, so it will advance. And she authenticates using her organization's identity provider. She can access it from her organization's internal portal, the AWS Access portal, or from a bookmark she creates. Once in SageMaker Unified Studio, she first selects the auto project. The auto project allows her team to share permissions to resources, source code, and other assets. Second, she needs to check how her team's data is published in the company data catalog. So in the data view, Samantha has access to the AWS data catalog or AWS Glue data catalog, Redshift tables, and shared team S3 buckets appropriate for her team. She is now responsible for preparing and publishing these Lakehouse tables to the data catalog. The policy data set that she's interested in is available under the consume ready or gold layer of the Medallion Powdered Data Lake. Clicking on the ellipsis to the right of the table name allows her to quickly preview the table. There we go. Samantha can also save time analyzing the data by using the integrated Amazon Q and natural language to query the data. So let's start with a simple row count of the data that was brought in through the ETL process. That query looks good. We can add it to the query book. and run the query. And those results look reasonable for the data that we expect to be loaded. Next, let's look at business financial data. In fact, we'll show the written premiums by industry for the current year. That query also looks good. We'll add it to the query book and run the query. And those numbers also look within expected ranges for the data that we're loading. And finally, let's do something a little bit different and look at a data quality question. Specifically, we're going to look at quarantine rows of data that were loaded in September 2025. So this query is good. And also, I want to point out that it's a little bit different than the prior two. It's using a different table. So Amazon Q determined that the best way to get this question answered is through looking at the quarantine table, which is an artifact of the Insurance Lake ETL process, which integrates AWS Glue data quality through business rules. And that number of quarantine rows looks about as expected. So now that she has verified the data in the data lake, Samantha needs to check the current data catalog listing for the team's data asset and improve descriptions so more teams across the organization can understand and find it. So Samantha returns to the project overview, then locates assets under project catalog, and is able to quickly find the policy data asset, which we need to do some work on. Selecting the policy data asset opens up the specific view, and you can see that business metadata has been automatically generated, but Samantha needs to review it before publishing. She can always come back, make edits, improve the descriptions, and republish. So first, we accept the summary and use case. Next, we accept the field names and field descriptions that were automatically generated. And next, we'll just make a small adjustment to the asset title so it's slightly more clear. In fact, this is summary data for policy and claims. Next, Samantha can inspect the schema tab and look at the field names, the business-friendly field names and descriptions that were automatically generated. And she can inspect the lineage tab, which of course shows the process by which the asset was published. But as we scroll to the left, we can also see the process that ran in the ETL and loaded the data. Specifically, these are AWS Glue jobs powered by Apache Spark used in the Insurance Lake ETL process. After reviewing all the tabs, Samantha then can republish the asset with the business metadata generated. Looks nice. All right, next, Samantha returns to the asset listing and switches over to creating a data product. Samantha can title a data product, which is a collection of data assets. She calls it commercial auto, policy, and claims, and then chooses the three assets that we looked at earlier. She chooses the main one, the policy data summary, the quarantine to add some transparency to the data quality process, and a view specifically made for dashboard visuals. Once created, Samantha just needs to publish it, and the data product can now be discovered by other teams. But it is not immediately available to access. Other teams must request access and receive approval from the commercial auto team. So now that Samantha has published that, to illustrate the subscribe and approval process, I'm going to log off of SageMaker Unified Studio and log back in as a different user. I will now switch to the role of Paul, an actuary who needs to access the commercial auto data we just published for analyzing loss ratios. Paul logs in using the same single sign-on interface that Samantha uses. And once logged into SageMaker Unified Studio, Paul selects the Actuarial project. Notice how under Assets for the Actuarial team, there is nothing in the inventory published or subscribed. So Paul must go to the Discover menu and choose the SageMaker catalog. And he can now browse the assets and products in the SageMaker catalog. He's easily able to find the policy data he needs and can request a subscription to the data. When subscribing, Paul must provide a reason for the request. This helps the approval process. Now that the request is created, a member of the commercial auto team project needs to approve this request. So I'm going to switch back to the role of Samantha. So we'll log off as Paul. And log back in as Samantha. Samantha rejoins the auto project. And under subscription requests, she can see Paul's request for access and approve it. Samantha can optionally leave a decision comment, which is useful for creating a subscription audit trail. The subscription request is approved, and the assets will now show in the actuarial team's inventory under subscribed. So next, Samantha needs to deploy a dashboard for her team members. The dashboard was built in a different account, and it needs to be republished so her team members can access it. Samantha will use SageMaker Unified Studio's built-in Jupyter Lab environment to execute a dashboard import script the IT team built for her team. This script just ensures that all components of the dashboard are imported together and that Samantha will have access to all these components. After a couple short minutes, Samantha can access the QuickSight analysis and publish it in the dashboard. And I might just jump ahead here to speed this up. Now the analysis is available, and she can publish the dashboard. While publishing, Samantha enables the data story sharing, built-in Q&A, and executive summary, so her team members can build ad hoc reporting and data insights outside of the prepared visuals. She'll name the dashboard Commercial Auto Overview so it's more clear, and click Publish. After publishing, Samantha will make sure the dashboard is easily discoverable for all team members with access. Before moving on to the next task, Samantha can try out an example natural language query using the Q&A feature. So we'll ask something that isn't currently a visual in the dashboard. What are the claim amounts by quarter and line of business? That data looks pretty good. If Samantha switches to a vertical stack bar chart, the results will be even more clear, which you can do just using the change visual type pop out. Excellent. All right. I'm now going to show you a preview of the actuarial journey. Let me just jump ahead here. That looks good. Remember, if you are interested in seeing more of this journey, check out the workshop link and contact your AWS account team. So as an actuary for a property and casualty insurance company, Paul needs to aggregate detailed claims data into loss runs that can help understand risk and research new ways to classify claims using generative AI. I will be showing how Paul could classify claims differently using generative AI in this demonstration. Just like Samantha, Paul starts his journey by logging in with single sign-on to Amazon SageMaker. There we go. Once in SageMaker Unified Studio, he will select the actuarial project. This project is shared with his other team members and helps them collaborate on research. In the actuarial project, Paul sees that one of his team members has added a sample CSV file of claim detail records. Paul can use these individual claim records to research loss classifications. Paul jumps right into the Jupyter Lab integrated environment where he does most of his work. He can preview the CSV file and inspect the data. Notice that the loss type columns appear to have only 3 classifications from the claims management system. And there's some missing data on loss type descriptions and cause of loss. However, if scrolling to the right, you can also see that there are detailed claim notes that we might be able to use to gain new insights into losses. So next, Paul opens a notebook he and his team have been working on. This notebook is designed to use Amazon Bedrock and the Amazon Nova Lite large language model to perform classification on the claim notes fields. Based on the result, additional columns will be added to the data set. As you can see at the top, that Paul's team has decided to work with 5,000 rows of data for this preliminary analysis. The first classification Paul will try is to look for indicators in the claim note that an attorney is involved. So we'll scroll down and you can see the LLM prompt that we're using, which can easily be edited by clicking on the cells. There it is under litigation prompt. And of course, pressing the play button on each cell advances the notebook code just like it would in any other Jupyter Lab environment. The second classification Paul will try is to reclassify the loss type using the claim note, ignoring the existing loss type. Again, using the notebook interface, you can inspect and adjust the LLM prompt in the notebook. Here you can see that the strategy the notebook uses is to choose 500 random records to identify unique categories, then use this list of categories to classify the set of 5,000 claims. And finally, the notebook compares the swaps between the legacy classification and the new classification. And between the legacy and the new one is much more fine-grained and much more clear. That's just a preview of how actuaries can gain insights from data using SageMaker Unified Studio. For more, please check out the full workshop.
Yeah, Corey, let us take a few questions
Sure.
from audience. So, does QuickSight chart and other features support lineage?
I can take that. So the lineage view that I showed in SageMaker Unified Studio isn't available within QuickSight. However, you can see if, by the way, the Insurance Lake and Davy solution accelerators that Mamta introduced are open source projects on GitHub under AWS samples. So you can check out that code and try these tools out. And so in answer to your question, Insurance Lake provides column and row and column based lineage data that's business readable. And this is very suitable for publishing in a QuickSight dashboard. In fact, if you follow the workshop fully, you'll get to see this in one of the journeys.
Let's take another question. We'll be able to have access to this notebook.
Yes, it's part of the workshop.
Yeah. So here is the workshop link. This is the solution, what you saw, Corey, right? This is the bit.ly link. Take a note of it. And I would recommend working with your AWS account team, account manager, and AWS solution architect. That way they can create some temporary AWS credentials so that instead of testing the solution in your AWS account, you can get some temporary AWS account where you can test it, and then you will have all the code. Once you see this is a fit for your use case, you can start building on your own by using these concepts. Corey, we will take few more questions. Right? You talked about Insurance Lake. So, based on your demo, how does this complement SageMaker Unified Studio?
So Insurance Lake loads data into the AWS Glue Data Catalog, or as SageMaker Unified Studio calls it, the Lakehouse. And SageMaker Unified Studio provides a unified method of access to the Lakehouse. So really, Insurance Lake is all the work you need to do in a repetitive process to loading data into a Lakehouse, and SageMaker takes over with new insights and analytics that you can do. And you can also use SageMaker Unified Studio to build ETL workflows and then promote them to a more traditional scheduled environment.
Okay. Thank you. And let's take one more question. How does SageMaker Unified Studio help reduce time to insights for insurance companies, and how they are making data-driven decisions, right? Based on your demo, can you talk about how this solution helped insurance carriers to make a data-driven decision efficiently as compared to dealing with the legacy systems?
Sure. I think that I have to partly answer that question, at least with the data lake itself. All these solutions help enable access to data lakes, and data lakes themselves reduce time to value of data because it's fast to load data in a lake. You can build just the right amount of data prep into your workflow, and you can be use case focused. However, what SageMaker Unified Studio brings that I think has yet to be fully appreciated is the full integration with natural language query. And natural language query really opens up a lot of the tools to a wider audience. And ultimately what that does is it reduces the cycle time for learning and iterations of experiments and questions. So it's faster to get an answer to an analytics question and then go back and implement feedback based on that. So you can refine results and gain new insights much faster.
Thank you. Thank you, Corey. I have a question to Mamata.
Sure.
How does data catalog functionality can improve data discovery across the organization? And we saw Corey shown the demo where business analyst created some data catalog, and then Actuarial came and subscribed, and then they were able to do the risk analysis and all. Can you talk a little bit more about how it can empower the user personas within the insurance?
Sure. Yeah. So Amazon's data zones, data catalog functionality, actually, which is integrated as part of SageMaker Unified Studio, it actually dramatically improves cross organizational data discovery by creating a centralized, searchable inventory of all data assets with rich metadata, business context, and governance information. So, this unified catalog that enables then the business users and the data professional to quickly find relevant, trusted data sets without needing to understand complex storage locations or technical details. So as you saw in Corey's demo, where the producer, the published an assets, and then the actuary actually consumed the assets. So that's an example. So by implementing the standard tagging, automated data classification, and clear ownership attribution, the catalog then transforms previously siloed data into discoverable assets that actually teams across different business units can easily locate, understand, and request access to through self-service workflows. So again, the result is significantly reduced time to insight as organizations eliminate this redundant data collection efforts and accelerate the process of turning this raw data into a business value.
Thank you, Mamata. I have one more question. When Corey showing demo, he was talking about projects. Can you talk a little bit more about what are the recommended approaches for organizing insurance data projects?
Sure. So for organizing insurance data projects in SageMaker Unified Studio, I would recommend implementing a structured approach, which dedicated project spaces for key insurance domains like claims processing, underwriting, customer analytics, fraud detection. And then each project space can utilize SageMaker's resource tagging capabilities to categorize assets by business line, data sensitivity level, project phase, enabling again proper governance while maintaining visibility across the teams. So, and then finally, a role based access controls that will align with your organization's data governance policies that will allow actuaries, data scientists, and business analysts to collaborate while still maintaining that separation of duties for sensitive policyholder data.
Thank you, Mamata. We'll take few more questions. Jay, we saw that like whole thing, right? How the legacy system kind of a bottom lag. So how should insurance companies approach the transition from legacy systems to using Amazon SageMaker Unified Studio? How they can get started?
Yeah, I think with any migration, I would say it'll be a phased approach. Is what I would do. Like the initial phase for any migration is like an assessment and a planning phase. Evaluate what the current data science infrastructure looks like, what migration patterns could be applicable, and create like a structured migration plan. Right. Make sure you have like a multi-account setup. So VPCs are network isolated for dev prod separation and so on. I think once you have that set up, the plan, then you can start with a gradual migration, which is, you import the SageMaker AI domains, user profiles, spaces without, the need to redeploy the infrastructure. And then continue using both, SageMaker Studio, the legacy one, and the Unified Studio during the transition phase. So you may have like a parallel access when you're doing this gradual migration. And at times where you need to do like data migration, use AWS Data Sync or other services that are applicable. Once you have that, now how do you execute or modernize it? I think one of the approaches or one of the accelerators that we offer is EBAs, experience-based accelerators. You can use that to gain momentum. There are other services also like AWS Transform
Jay,
to automate.
Jay, can you talk a little bit more about EBA? How it can accelerate the customer POCs?
Yeah, experience-based accelerators is really like you pick up a small use case, which is a critical success factor as a pilot. Make sure you have all the necessities that you need to build that out. And once you've done that in a small environment where all the people who are required to build it out are available, it's a all teams together approach, where you sit in, it's like a war room kind of a thing, where you build it out together and you get your objectives achieved within that time frame, so that your outcomes are measurable and your success factors are met through those a workshop or as like a brainstorming approach at that time.
So basically, it's AWS specialists, solution architects, and customer solution architect and developers in the same room.
Exactly.
And they define a POC objectives, and then you will try to test the solution.
Exactly.
I see one more question I'm flashing on here. The question is, customers will have something in place that does what SageMaker does. Do we coexist with these legacy solutions, or it a replace? Corey, you want to take that question?
Happy to. So I think it can coexist well. SageMaker Lakehouse provides the ability to federate data catalogs, and you can bring in third-party catalogs and make them available in SageMaker. So you don't have to move data with many of our partners. You can show that you can expose that data in the Lakehouse and do analytics on it with AWS tools. And the other way around, the AWS storage formats can be published as federated data sources to third-party environments. So these tools can work together really well, and we have many customers doing that.
Thank you, Corey. One more last question, Corey, to you. You talked about a lot of natural language thing, right, to accelerate the business analysis use function and all. How easy to do that, and how they can start using Amazon Q PHS within the SageMaker Unified Studio?
Amazon Q is enabled through one click in SageMaker Unified Studio. And if you start with the Davy solution, it will be automatically enabled. So it's very easy to get started. You can always click. You can actually, we're still sharing. You can see the little Q at the top here, top right corner.
Oh,
anytime, yep. So anytime you click that, it pulls out a chat interface, and you can interact with Q and ask it questions, and it's context sensitive. If you're in a query window, it knows that you're going to ask it SQL questions. If you're in a notebook, it knows that you're going to ask it Python questions. If you're in the catalog, it's going to have access to the catalog information. It can even help you search the catalog for assets that meet your business needs.
Thank you, Corey. Can it do like a metadata for business catalog? You shown about Samantha trying to create a data, and then she's trying to update the business metadata. Is Q can help creating a metadata?
It was in fact Q that created that metadata.
Oh, nice. Okay. So let's take one more last question, and then we will splash a survey link. Can you talk a little bit more about like how this collaboration worked? You've shown an example of how business analyst and Actuarial collaborated each other for the risk analysis, and also business analysis created some business intelligence report for leadership, right? Two questions. One is how easy to implement this multiple users coming into the SageMaker Unified Studio. Like they can use their existing corporate credentials like Okta or maybe Ping Identity or a Microsoft Intra with the SageMaker Unified Studio.
Is that for me?
I'll take that. I mean, so collaboration through SageMaker Unified Studios can be done in multiple ways. One, I think, as we saw in the demo, right, through project-based collaboration, like shared workspaces, unified ID, data discovery, sharing through centralized catalog, and cross-team data sharing. By shared workspace, I mean projects serve as a collaboration boundaries where team members gain access to relevant files, tools.
Yeah, Jay, at the time. Okay. Thank you all for attending. Yes, you can use the project-based control, or you can use your existing corporate credential like Okta or Ping Identity or Microsoft Intra. You can connect with our IAM Identity Center, and then you can use those existing groups. Thank you so much for your time. And survey link is popped here. Please complete survey. We wanted to get some feedback from all of you so that we will learn more from what you're expecting, and then we'll improve upon based on your feedback. We'll wait for a minute or so that you can take the survey link and fill the survey. Thank you so much, all of you. I hope you learned something from this session. You can always reach us, our AWS account team. They'll be able to help you. There is a last question. We are able to access the notebook. Yes, you can access the notebook once you deploy the solution, right? I will splash again solution link here. Take a note of this solution link. Once you work with your AWS account team, once you deploy this solution, you will have access to notebook. You will have access to whole of this sample code as well. Once again, thank you all for your time. I hope you learned something new. And we are planning to do 2 more sessions in month of October. One is healthcare and life sciences, and the second one is in around public sector, where we are going to talk about how we can improve the student engagement experience by using SageMaker Unified Studio. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.